Hey folks, here for an update. Let's enjoy the awesome intro to this awesome game. Before we get too excited about any updates whatsoever, I do love the intro for this game. Summer production. It plays so smooth on my screen, a little bit choppy in the recordings, just a little bit choppy. It plays beautifully on my screen though, so you're just gonna have to deal. Ha ha ha. Anyway, folks. Oh, I hope that doesn't show up on screen. My little volume adjustment thing. Here's the man himself, Zhou Yu, as it happens, is the guy who gets to pop up at the beginning of this. I think that's supposed to be Zhou Yu. No, that's Lubu. And that's arrows blotting out the sky, so we're fighting in the shade. Peach Garden Brothers! Sworn oath to fuck the world! Oh, there's Cao Cao. Sworn oath, I meant to say. Cao Cao with a couple of Jihaos. Or it might have been like an advisor. There's Sun Tzu himself, my sworn brother, if I play as Zhou Yu, which I'll be making an announcement about that in a moment. But then the beautiful Diao Chan appears to put the romance in Romance of the Three Kingdoms. But what's this? She's turned into Pyreflies and gone to the far plane? Oh no, Lubu's gonna fucking kill everyone now. But Guan Yu, God of Commerce. Oh shit, it's on. Romance of the Three Kingdoms 10. Okay, folks, you may ask, why have I summoned you back here after going on for an hour plus, almost 90 minutes the last time out? Well, here's the deal, folks. I've created the first couple of officers because I had a few officers in mind who already had their spots reserved. I was upfront about that in the first video. I told you guys, yeah, you know, it's not exactly even chance everyone has, because there's a few guys who get a, you know, sort of VIP insider pass, and everyone else has to go through the lottery. That includes people who've given me some really sage advice and offered to help after I'd already gotten it, like Mr. British Gamer offered me a save file. I'm already pretty much good to go, although thank you, Mr. British Gamer, and some advice on how he thought the game should go. But he and a lot of other people who've given me some really good ideas are all pretty much going to go in the lottery to see who's going to get in. I haven't at this point even determined how many people I'm going to draw who will get to be characters. But I have created a couple characters, so I'll show them to you real quick. Just so you can get a feel for what other folks are doing. Count In is here. Count In chose Babyface. Somebody else also chose Babyface, and they applied before Count In. Count In is Nate Halos, by the way. So if the other guy who chose the Babyface, and I don't know why everyone wants to be Babyface Fraunschweiger, if the other guy who chose Babyface actually wins the lottery, because he applied first, Count In will default to his second selected face. I don't even remember what that was, but I'm sure it was similarly ridiculous. And his dad is Cao Cao. He's one of the few people who chose a dad. He chose Cao Cao. So it's like little baby Cao Cao. Instead of being the pretty princess that Nate Halos was last time, now it's the child of Cao Cao. Here's Zhao Ren. Zhao Ren belongs to, I think, one of the people who offered me help with putting together the characters' stats from last time out, but they went with the Jushu alternate picture. So just so you know, buddy, that's somebody else's face you've stolen. You just ripped somebody else's face off, put it on over yours. What are you, like John Travolta? I don't know, man. Then we got Natsuki Yang, just one of the special portraits, so it's kind of not in exactly the same art style as the rest of the portraits, but looks pretty cool, if you ask me. Top Hat Raptor, one of the guys who helped me out with gathering information on the stats from last time, so I could come up with the stat requirements for this time. Although, as Grimith noticed, I completely blanked on the fact that Grimith's character from my last LP actually had the second lowest stats, superior to Mr. Sirius by leaps and bounds, but still the worst overall player once you eliminate Mr. Sirius, who's kind of a freak of nature in that LP. Therefore, I did it wrong. I'm doing it wrong. You guys should have had less than 400 points to distribute if I'd actually properly done it. Or no, more. I'm sorry. You guys got robbed. You should have had more than 400 points. Just a few more, probably. But we're not going back and changing it now. It's 400 points. Here's Grimith himself. Grimith, as you can see, pretty cool portrait he chose for himself. Initially, he told me to just make the character for him, and he's lucky he didn't do that because I had a couple of different guys in mind. Like one of them would be this guy because he's kind of a little bit similar to Grimith from last time. One of them would be this guy because he's got a big beard, so he looks a little bit like an old Master Reaper. But more than likely, you're gonna be him, Master Reaper. But no, that didn't end up happening. His abilities are a bit weird. He gave himself a pole of 1. I'll get to that in a minute. He also, I went ahead and did as he asked. He had a special request on the skills. I'm honoring his request for a reason. But the rest of you are not going to have as many skills as Grimith ended up with. And as he pointed out in his IM to me, you're not going to get to see any of this in action anyway. You might get to see Blunder, Arrow, and Geo, and Wizard in action if he's in a battle. You're never going to see the bait and dual skills unless I personally get in a debate with Master Grimith Reaper Man before this is over. He also, you'll notice this. Everybody's got 50 fame. No, everybody doesn't have 50 fame. Alright, I gotta go back. I must have changed my mind about how much fame I was giving people during this. Some people have 100, some people have 50. That's going to change. Everyone's going to have the same amount. I'm thinking of going with 100. One of the other reasons I should give a shout out to Mr. British Gamer, he mentioned something I hadn't really thought of, which is that I should give everyone a boost to fame at the beginning just to make make the ball get rolling a little bit faster as far as these characters being able to do things, being available to do different types of things. It's mostly your deeds and your fame that seem to determine what it is that your character is able to do. So he suggested that I should give everybody 50 fame instead of 1. The most you can possibly have starting out is 500. Nothing you can do, nothing you can unlock in the game is going to let you start with more than 500 fame. 1,000 is the maximum you can possibly have. 1,000 you have automatically if you own the Jade Seal of the Emperor. If that is in your possession, you automatically have 1,000 fame, no matter what you do. There are certain actions that should decrease your fame. You will have 1,000 fame blocked if you have that item. Grimith has 250. I think I'm going to set 100 for everyone else. He has 250. Not me sucking up to Grimith. It's just a little something that I'll get to in a minute. But let me show you some more of the characters. Vulture Bobo has not actually applied to be in this yet. And he's got time. Right now he's got 0 skills, 50 in everything, completely generic stats. I basically wanted to reserve this picture. I'm Bearded Warrior Man. Now there are plenty of other Bearded Warrior Men that he could choose from, of course. And we've all seen this before. And there's historical Bearded Warrior Men. There's special Bearded Warrior Men. I'm fond of that guy in the bottom right corner there. And the guy in the top right there is one of the guys I had in mind as a possible Grimith face before he chose one for himself. But various Bearded Warrior Men here. But I know I wanted to save that face because this is, as near as I can tell, this is the Romance of the Three Kingdoms 10 version of the portrait he's had in all the other LPs. BMR Calamity, who is wearing a special hat of some kind. Gave himself a nice balanced stat. Everyone's given themselves 100 in war, which, you know, I don't want to tell you how to build your characters, but Fulger didn't. Fulger actually spread it around a little bit differently. But yeah, everyone always gives himself 100 in war, which kind of annoys me, but I gave you guys the freedom to do it. Now we start getting into some other stuff. I went ahead and created versions of some of the Dynasty Warrior women, like I said I would. I haven't done all of them because I can't remember all the names of the ones from 7, so I'll have to dig through. I guess the best option I've got is to look at the LP that I did with Bobo, because I obviously don't have access to Dynasty Warrior 7 over here. I know that Sun Xuan's wife is around and has like huge, ridiculous knockers, and then there's a female in Shu that doesn't really show up in Shu's Muso. And then I don't think there's any new females for... Wei has a new female, but she's in Romance of the Three Kingdoms X as one of these sages who wanders the land and can... Sages. They can wander the land and teach you skills. And that's about it for the new females. And there's a new female in Extreme Legends, but I have no idea who the heck she is. She's with Jin. Yeah, so you can see I made some characters here. You can do the math. I'm not going to add those up, but I think Genji and most of the females I created from Dynasty Warriors are probably not as powerful as our created characters are. Jacques Yao, I couldn't help but make one of the Dynasty Warriors characters. I didn't want to make them like flat out bad, but as you can see, very low intelligence. War isn't great. Pretty much gave all of the females that I created 500 fame, because they're supposed to be, I mean, between them, Zhenji, the two Qiaos, and Diao Chan, pretty much supposed to be the four most beautiful women in, like, China at the time. So yeah, you'd think they'd be pretty famous. Da Qiao has better stats overall than Jacques Qiao. I made her shitty at war because she had to be shitty at something. Which means that I won't be putting her in any duels. JG Mystery is here, using his stats from last game because he, you know, look at the draw, got a much better roll than, you know, She Grimith, for example, or Mr. Sirius, or some others. So he's still around. I don't think I gave him a close friend. No, well, I hadn't made Bobo Grimith or any of the other cause-created warriors yet when I did that, so I might go ahead and do that. Jiao Chan, I gave Poor War and Poor Pull, because I can't really see her out there getting her fingernails soiled with, she's a close friend, of course, with Lu Bu. Although if you've read the novel, or seen the TV series, you're probably thinking that she's not necessarily really all that close with Lu Bu, but certainly that's the role that she has to play. And Jing Tsai's still in there, although in order to make Zhang Fei her father, her birth year has to be pushed back late enough that she may not pop in this game, which would be sad. It'd be sad if she didn't show up at all. But it's either that or she can't be Zhang Fei's daughter anymore. Wang Yue Ying. I made her good at war because her Dynasty Warriors iteration really does, with that like sort of pike that she fights with, really does seem to have a legit weapon instead of like the silly fans or dancing batons that, you know, some of them have had in previous games. But you'll also notice that she's also the only one who doesn't have of the females I created doesn't have 100 in charisma, because she's supposed to be butt ugly. But she is a woman, so she's probably going to have more influence on the average bearded warrior man than another bearded warrior man. Shang Zhang has probably the best stats of all of the created characters, just because I had to make her good at leader in war, considering what her whole role is supposed to be. And her intelligence is, she's smarter than Jacques Qiao, but, you know, so are things growing on the sides of trees. And the neat thing about her is that I played around with this a little bit, and actually in her bio, because I made Sun Jian her father, if she gets recruited into Sun Sei's force, it does note in her bio that they are siblings. So that was kind of cool that that worked out. However, I did run into some problems. Let me make my first official announcement here. You guys have given me some good ideas and some feedback on what scenario you think we should play. But I'm going to go ahead and make a decision here now. I had maybe 3 or 4 people who wanted me to play somebody from Wei. I think I had at least 2 people wanted me to play as Cao Pi. At least 1 person wanted me to play as Joshua, whose name isn't really pronounced Joshua. It's just that's the way I think of him now. And actually, 1 person, I don't have their message in front of me, but well, actually I do, but I don't want to pop it up in the recorder window, said that they were sick of all 3 kingdoms and suggested that I play for Dong Zhuo, Yuan Shao, or I forget who else he suggested. He didn't have another suggestion, though. And he said Yang Song, but that was like a joke. Yang Song, whatever that guy's name is. He suggested I play as like Zhihao Dun, as one of the officers he laid out there, but that I play for a different force. Now, the idea of Zhihao Dun fighting for anyone except Cao Cao is completely beyond the pale, but it was an interesting suggestion. If I ever do this again, I might try playing as, like, you know, for Yuan Shao's force, or for... And if I ever play Romance of 3 Kingdoms 11, YouTube Let's Play, or just on my own, I'll probably end up playing as, like, some really kind of more off-the-wall force, like Gongxing Zan, or... possibly for Liu Zhang, or even for Meng Huo. But no, here I'd already decided I want to do one of the 3 kingdoms. Nobody suggested that I play as Shu. I don't know how to take that. Part of me is like, oh, you guys didn't want to see me play Shu? Didn't you like it when I played as Shu before? But like I myself already said I've already done Shu, so I think we're all in agreement there. Shu's been done, been there, done that. A lot of people wanted to see, well, by a lot of people I mean like 3 or 4, maybe 5, wanted to see Wei. Like I said, Cao Pi or Joshua or maybe even Jihaodun. I think Jihaodun got at least 2 different mentions from people. And like maybe 2 people wanted to see Rise of Heroes, and that was it. Which, yeah, that wasn't a strong showing. I did mention that I would do Rise of Heroes if a lot of people wanted to see it, but you guys seemed to pick up on the hint that I wasn't that excited about Rise of Heroes. And in fact, although I didn't do a scientific tally, it did seem like I was reading more people voting for founding Wu than for anything else. Although some people wanted to see it thunder in the Central Plains, some people wanted to see a dragon rises as Chirby burns, but I seem to get more support for anything else. For my idea that I pitched was that I play as Zhou Yu and found Wu, and of course, probably more than anything else for people who didn't have a recommendation at all. But I got more of that than anything else, so that's what I'm going to do, folks. I'm actually going to play... No, that's not what I meant to do. Shoot. I'm actually going to play officially now as Zhou Yu up there in the bottom right corner, and I'm going to play Thunder Roars from the Central Plains. So anybody who hasn't made their submission yet, who is wondering, you know, oh, what should I have as my birth year? What should I have as my starting city? This is going to be making it official. And I'll read that text again when I actually do the whole thing. Here's where things are going to get a little interesting. Here's the real reason that we're doing another video. Not just that I can chat about the game, not just that I can show you the different forces, but something I mentioned, and this was completely off the cuff, not planned, like everything else in the video. I kind of casually mentioned it would be kind of neat if there was a created force and I wasn't playing as it. Because I really did wonder, I wonder if I or another human were playing as one of the forces in any of Grimith's previous LPs of Rants of Three Kingdoms. I wonder if they would do better than the AI did of shutting down his Raffle Stomp across the land. Well, Grimith, in his personal message that he sent me, like he commented on the thread and was kind of like, yeah, do whatever, I don't care. That's not really what he said, but he was kind of like, yeah, you can make my character, that's cool. And eventually he like PM'd me with like a little bit more detail, and kind of, I think taking it for granted that I was going to do this, and even though I said, it might be a neat thing, but I wasn't really planning on it. The more I thought about it, the more it does seem like it would be a fun idea. And that's why Grimith has more skills than anyone else. I even thought about breaking the rule. He has 401 points, the rest of you schmucks only get 400. I thought about breaking that rule and giving him like a 50 or 75 in poll, making him a more powerful character than the rest of us, including JG Mystery, just because he's going to have the responsibility of leading a faction, a force. And that's what I wanted to make this video announcement for, both for people who haven't submitted yet, and I'm also going to give people who have already submitted a chance. I asked you to pick a city and a force, or to be free officers. But we're changing things up just a little bit. We're throwing in one more force. You can fight alongside the Master of Disaster, the Pastor of Disaster, the Blaster of Disaster, Grimith. Now, in his, I just looked it up for myself. In his RTK4, he played out of Onding. RTK6, he played out of Wudu. Onding, in this scenario, is occupied by Li Jui, although that will change with historical events playing out, but it's still not a valid starting place. I could start them down here. These are all territories. These territories here are kind of the central area of conflict between Wu and Shu. These cities over here are places that would definitely be part of Wu, which is the kingdom I'm going to found. I really don't want Grimith starting here because I don't want to come into conflict with them until I've had a chance, just for my own curiosity, to see how an AI group just tossed in the middle of the scenario will do. So I don't want to start fighting them right away. I want to give them a chance to actually see if they can expand against the other AIs. So he can either start out here in the non-Mon lands, and that was a tempting choice because his only threats are Shi Ji and Liu Zhang. Oh, that's Liu Yan. Oh, this is Liu Yan. Liu Zhang hasn't even taken over yet. Liu Zhang will apparently take over when Liu Yan dies. But yeah, this is the territory that would eventually fall to Liu Zhang, and would then be gobbled up by Liu Bei to found Shu. The capital of Shu for most of its history was Chengdu, and that was Liu Zhang's capital when it fell to Liu Bei. So we could put Shi Grimith down here in the Naman territories. I've pretty much decided I'm not giving him any of these cities. I don't want to throw him in the middle of the Central Plains because that will completely screw up the historical events that will happen. And I played a few turns in, and indeed, some of the historical stuff, like with Sun Ce loaning the Imperial Seal to Yuan Shu, the stuff with like Lu Bu seizing a city from Cao Cao, Cao Cao driving him out, Lu Bu takes refuge with Liu Bei, but then he seizes the city from Liu Bei. Liu Bei seeks refuge with Cao Cao, and we have the battle at White Gate Tower. All that stuff will happen on its own if you leave it alone. But if I drop Shi Grimith in here, I have a feeling that'll probably screw it up. I don't think I could throw him up here either and ping Yuan. If I did, Yuan Shao would have him for breakfast. I don't see much of a chance that he'd be able to get established before Yuan Shao. Yuan Shao has 18 officers in one city and 13 in the other. I mean, even if it was Grimith himself and not an AI, I think he'd be in a bad place if he started out caught between Cao Cao and Yuan Shao. So actually the best choice is where he was starting before. Anding is occupied. Wudu is free, but I think I'm going to put him in Tianshui because it actually is a better city than Wudu. Wudu has 5,000 gold, 2,100 food, and 18,000 defense. 1,800 defense. Tianshui is better in every way. The only difference being that he has no buffer against Ma Teng. But like I said, I gave him a few. I played around with this before. I played a few turns in, and I can't promise it'll go exactly like that. But he had managed to make himself defensible before Ma Teng launched any kind of attack before. So I'm going to drop Shi Grimith in right here. I'm not actually starting the game now, so why am I even bothering to do this? I don't know. There he is, which means that these new officers, like Jiao Chan, this is where it gets tricky. Lu Bu, well, I don't want Jiao Chan to be my officer, but Jiao Chan, no, wait, hold on, what am I doing? If I were to drop everyone in here, see, you can't, unfortunately, start him with more than one city. I thought about giving him the 2 empty cities up here and spreading officers between them, but I can't do that. He's got to start with one city. There's no place for me to put Jiao Chan where she's in Lu Bu's force, because Lu Bu starts as a rogue officer. And that's something I wanted to make clear to everyone, because a couple of people asked to be put in this whatever force I'm going to play as. And that might have been doable if I had decided, as some of you asked, to play as like Cao Pi in a different scenario. But because I'm playing this scenario, Sun Ce's force is a rogue army. We're going to get a city of our own very quickly, but in the actual first turn of the game, we don't have a city, which means that I can't put anyone directly in my force. As much as you might like to be in my force, I'm sure that it has to do with you wanting to hang out with me and help me, and not the fact that it means your character will be, showcased a lot more in the LP. I'm sure that's not what your thinking is. But I can't do it. Best I can do is drop you in like a city like Jianyi, which will fall to Sun Ce's force very quickly. Or Wu. I mean, if you really want to be in Wu, you're going to want to choose one of these cities that will be conquered by the famous Little Conqueror in the first phase of his expansion. You can't be assigned to his force. As far as I know, I cannot assign you to a rogue army. Unless, I mean, if somebody knows something I don't, like if I really wanted Falger to be in a rogue army, what do I do? Change mode? Well, hold on. Maybe I can do something here. That's Sun Tzu's rogue army. Could I put you in there? Bulger? No. What about you, Nini Halos? There's two different rogue armies on this map. Lu Bu and Sun Tzu both have rogue armies. Is it going to let me do this? No. I can show them on the map, but when I go to my list here, it's cities. I can't deposit you into a rogue army. Which means, for example, I made characters for Sun Chengjiang and Dan Jia Qiao just because I came into this series through Dynasty Warriors, so I can't help but want those characters to be around for it to feel like a proper game. Can't assign them to Sun Tzu's force. Can't do it. However, for all of you created officers out there, I could assign all of you, not the Qiaos, not Huan Yue Ying, not Diao Chan, not Zhen Ji, but the rest of you could all be dumped into Shi Grimith's force. So let's just real quick see how that would look. I just totally went past my character. If I decide to play as Sun Tzu, I don't want to spoil too much of the story, so I'm just going to skip as fast as I can through this text. Don't read this text, folks. It'll be spoilers. We'll have a video very soon where we actually get started. And by very soon, I mean within a month or so. As you can see, since I'm in a rogue force, I start out with rather unusual commands of seize, move, or resign. But this is what I wanted to show you guys. Now we don't have information on these cities. Ah, fuck, I forgot about that, because I can't spy at this point. But we do have Shi Grimith's force up there. It's got like over a dozen officers in it in this setup. And it's next to some potentially dangerous foes. Ma Tang is always a potential threat, because he's got some officers with really high war. He's going to have a lot of cavalry. He's in here next to Li Jui, who's basically commanding what's left of Dong Zhuo's armies. You've got Zhang Lu, who at this point fancies himself some kind of king of Han Zhang. We'll see about that. And Liu Yan, who I don't remember a whole lot about him, but he can't be any worse of a ruler than Liu Zhang. But he's got 3 cities under his control, including Chengdu, which is one of the largest cities in China of the time. This is where Master Reaper / Shi Grimith / whatever he feels like calling himself. This is where he's going to grow out of. Well outside of my reach, which I think is for the best. It means that by the time I get to him, he'll either have been, beaten down by the other AIs, or he'll have taken over enough territory to be a real threat. That'll make things real interesting if I'm fighting a powerful AI force that, at least in its name, is borrowing the power and majesty of Grimith Reaper. So we'll see what happens with that. But this is what I wanted to make you guys aware of. Tian Shui, Shi Grimith. That force is available. If you've already submitted an officer and you want to join Grimith's force, send me a PM, because I'm going to go through the PMs first, and then I'm going to go through the comments, and I'm going to ignore any comments from somebody that I also got a PM from. So if you want to join Grimith's force, just make sure you send me a PM instead of putting a comment on this video or any other video, and that way I'll get it organized. Nobody will have given me a submission previously, and then I make their character based on that, and then after it's too late, I might find out that they wanted to join Grimith's force. No, we're not going to have that problem as long as you make sure to send me a PM to tell me that you want to be on Grimith's force. And if you've already submitted an officer and you're sending me a PM to say you're going to be on Grimith's force, make both of our lives a little bit easier, or at least my life easier. That's what counts here. And just resubmit your stats, whatever else you've already given me. and mention that you want to be on Grimith's force. I'm sorry if you're having to do double duty there, but you can just copy and paste what you commented before into a PM. Because the important thing is that if I go through the PMs first, I'll make a list of all the people by YouTube username that gave me PMs with characters. Then I can go through the comments after that and only get the names for people who I don't already have PMs from. It'll make it much easier for me to organize everything. Alright? You got me? Everybody good? Everybody happy? Excellent. Don't think there was anything else I really needed to say, so let's try to end this video when it's been a half an hour, which is much longer than it needed to be for this purpose. But, that's the scoop, folks. Grimith. He is a force that you can join. For Grimith, it is a beautiful no-lose situation. If he gets crushed by the AIs, or if I manage to defeat him personally, then all he's got to do is say, hey, that wasn't really me, that was the AI. I mean, you know, it means no... I think Larry I Hate You did an LP of Romance of the Kingdoms 11 way back when. And he had people like Kakoskia, and I think possibly like Nintendo Capri Sun, and sort of famous LPers who, you know... I don't know this with any certainty, but I'm under the impression that they weren't watching Larry's channel, or at least that particular LP, but he just kind of threw a lot of people in and put them in there. And I don't think anybody was like, I think Kakoskia is like, oh, Kakoskia, your character's not doing very well in this LP of Romance of the Kingdoms 11. And if they did, he would have been like, you know, what the hell. But, yeah, it's the AI. You can't blame the AI. You can't blame Grimith when the AI fails in a game he's not even playing. On the other hand, should this computer AI force, which will have only one city, but a very high concentration of talented officers if people decide to join him, should this thrive and actually become a serious threat, even potentially knock me out of contention and win the game? Possibly, since I'm playing as Zhou Yu, I could even end up defecting and joining this force if it becomes apparent that I can't win and that this is the only way to unify China. These things are all possible. If any of those happen, then, you know, all praise and glory be unto Grimith. Grimith, who, as many of us in the Voltron army already believe, shaped us from clay and breathed in life and formed us in his image, which is why, of course, we're all a bunch of faceless, you know, evil-eyed necromancers. I know I am. I can't speak for any of the rest of you. But anyway, that's it, folks. That is a new option. If you want to join his force, just send me a PM and let me know. Otherwise, it will be business as usual. You can drop your opinions on what you think I should have done, if you'd like. But it's now pretty much official that I'm going to play as Zhou Yu and found the Kingdom of Wu. And if Romance of the Three Kingdoms 12 comes out, and it comes out in America, I'll probably play that eventually. And I think by that point, I will have to play as Wei, because I'll have played as Shu, I'll have played as Wu. And, although someone made the interesting suggestion that I just ignore the Three Kingdoms and play as somebody else, I can't help it. That's the way I play. Three Kingdoms, all the way. This has been Mysterious JG. I want to thank you guys very much for watching. And, oh yeah, one other thing. If you really want to join Grimith's force, and you really want to help him out, I'm going to give you a pro tip from the Mysterious JG. I went ahead and I bent the rules a little bit for Grimgrams because he's going to be leading his own force. He's got a much greater load to carry than the rest of these created characters. Which means he got more skills and more fame, and he got one more ability point than everyone else. Just one. And his dump stat was pole all the way. If his force is going to succeed, he's going to need, and he's only going to have created officers to start with. He's going to need people with high pole ability. Pole is like the least glamorous thing that you can possibly be good at. I made a point of making JG Mystery good at pole when I created him. It's actually his best stat. And it was his best stat in the Romance of the Three Kingdoms 6 LP2. It's not glamorous, it's not exciting. But if you really want to be in Grimith's force, and you want to gain deeds, which allows you to have a higher rank, I would think pole might be the way to go. You might want to become a pole dancer. You might want to go for pole position. Anyway, stupid puns are over for the time being. There'll be plenty of time for that when the LP starts. I want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you for all the comments and suggestions and the like. And I'll be seeing you after we've had the Lethal Lottery and we've seen who's going to Raw and who's going to SmackDown and who's going to be in this LP. See you next time.